Good morning, one and all. I finally set the time at 4 a.m., not 4 p.m. like yesterday, so everything has started well. Good morning to you all. Your morning Spurs show, Cockerel Doodle is here, joined by three guests, and we're just going to do a quick hello to them. So always ladies first. Ash, how are you?
Hi, Brian. I'm so happy to be here and looking forward to the game against North Forest. So excited, so much football's happening.
Oh, it's the best when it happens at Christmas. David, sir, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Very well. How is everyone?
All good. And finally, how are you, Ian?
Good, thanks. Morning all and morning all listeners.
Good. I thought you were going to make a joke just there about something. I
No,
saw
no,
the
no.
smile on your face. Yes, I've had my hair cut. Yes, when I do this, I someone looks like me, especially if I put my glasses on, which I won't be doing anytime soon.
Chairman Brian.
If I was the chairman, things would be very different. I don't know if it would be a good way or a bad way, but we'll just say hello to everyone and then get on with the show. Tigaro, good morning. I've seen your super chat. We'll deal with it as soon as I've dealt with the hellos. John, good morning. I don't know if you're with Maxi, but if you are, good morning, Maxi. Eltel, big up Jose. I hope you're good. Tigaro again. Tom is here. Who else? Mark Cousins, Kuva. As I just said in the back end, my favourite West Ham fan, who I've just started speaking to again after last week. Good morning, Benjamin. Hennessy is here. Terry is here. MG is here. And Stephen Collins is here. So first of all, we've got a super chat before we get into what I have planned for the show from Tigaro. Ian, I'm going to come. Actually, always I said ladies first. So Ash, we're going to you first. When Harry left, what was our squad value? We'll talk about that part. But second, what is it now with Vic, 17 million, now 35-40, Porro 40 now 65-70, Madders 40 now 80, on the right path. Let's make this a little bit easier. Do you reckon the squad price is now higher with the players we brought in and Kane gone than what it was when Kane was there minus the other players?
So I think that the value that was subtracted when Kane left, that much value has now been accrued by Udogi doing well and Sar doing well and Vicario doing well. Because I'm guessing if we were to ever sell Vicario now, his value would be, if 80 mil or something, because a good goalkeeper is now going for that much. It's the same with Udogi, etc. Their value has, I would suggest, doubled almost. I don't know how much did we get him for. We got it for very cheap, I think.
17 million.
17 million. So I'm guessing if he were to be sold now, he'd go for at least 30-40 million. So it's practically doubled. So I think we've made up for any loss of value we might have had for Kane. So at this point, we're at the same place we were last year in terms of value, if you think about it that way.
Okay. Ian, what are you thinking? Yourself.
Sorry.
Yeah, Ian, what are you thinking squad price?
What am I thinking? Well, I mean, when you looked at it last year, you had three players really that played. We know Sonny was injured and his form dropped dramatically. Kulu was way off form. And for me, you had three players that could hold their own in most Premier League teams only, and that was Romero, Kane, and Bentancur. So for me, the value was okay, still basically made by Kane. Kane left, but Kane left after a lot of players were bought, and Udogie had come across. So you look at the money that's been spent on the players. Vicario 17, Sar 20, Maddison 30, Basuma 25, Udogie 19, Van der Ven 34, Bentancur 16. So you look at this money. You sort of add this up. You've got 67, 92, 111, 145, sort of 160 million for those seven players. One plus Porro. I mean, and you look at what Chelsea are paying for players.
Yep.
I think Spurs have been very, very good. They've been very shrewd in their recruitment. I think British has been absolutely fantastic for the club. You look at those figures, and you look at what other clubs are paying. I mean, United have spent 400 million on 5 or 6 players in the last 2 windows. The two last summer windows. Crazy. So the only one the only thing I would have gone for, who I think would have been a good buy, even at the money, was Doku at City. I think he would have been worth the money. You look at Porro at 40, Romero 42. I would have spent the extra 10, 12 million on Doku.
He looks quality.
Rather than Johnson, to be honest. I think
Johnson.
That would have been a better buy.
I think Johnson's going to listen. Doku's elite, in my opinion. Johnson will get there, but I don't think it's going to be a quick thing. I've got to be careful what we say about Johnson because there's someone above you and someone in the comments. I've got his PA in here in Colin Cross, Mister, who when he speaks, he's on fire. I have to say, I'm going to come to you, David, as well with the same question, but. Look at that. We talk about port scratchings in the back end, and look what appears. That probably is about Dyer's value. But what are you thinking about squad depth and price?
Yeah, I mean, it's the value of the players and the way they're performing. I think we've done, like Ian said and like Ash said, we've done fantastic. Do you know what I mean? And, yes, the Kane value, to be fair for me, I thought he was sold quite cheap. Do you know what I mean? But I can understand why we're getting rid of him. But then to use that money and bring in the certain players, like, don't get me wrong, some of them we brought in haven't exactly hit their price tag yet. Do you know what I mean? But hopefully, they can come along and start actually providing that value there. But overall, I think we've done really well. Like Ian said, the recruitment, the way we bought players and the price we bought them for, I think has been fantastic. I mean, who did we play? I think it was, who was it? I think it was Arsenal, wasn't it? Where now you look at what they paid for Rice, just for one player in their midfield, and then you look at how many players we've got who were, filling our squad to what we want. And it's worked. Like, so yeah, I think we're better off at the moment, but there still needs to be more done, obviously.
There we go. Let's just say good morning to everyone. And Fran, good morning, darling. I hope you're okay. Right. I think I wanted to talk about to begin with. We're going to talk midfield trios. Okay, now the first part is obviously there's 3 midfielders that are linked with moving. So Ash, I'm always going to come to you first, so we'll go to you again. Skip, Højbjerg, and Gio. Do you see them going? And which one of those do you want? If you had to get rid of them, what would you do?
So I actually don't see Skip going because of our homegrown, we need the homegrown numbers. But since we're getting so many academy kids in, the under 21s in, perhaps we can make up those numbers there. I would rather get rid of Skip than Højbjerg. I do think that Højbjerg has a slightly more enhanced role in our team than Skip does. Like coming in in the Man City game, he can do a job as a sub in a second half to sort of shore up our defense and all of that. I know that he gave away that consolation goal against Newcastle. It was his fault. He lost the ball, but I still think that he can do a job. Also, because we're losing Bissouma and Sar for the AFCON, our midfield's going to be pretty thin in Jan, and so we need all these midfielders to still be around. So even if we do sell any of them, it should be at the absolute end of the transfer window, if it has to happen. But you know how Levy is; he sells before he buys. So I don't know. I don't know where that's going to have us end up. But I would rather get rid of Skip than the other two.
Okay. Well, we're going to come on to midfielders that could be coming in after we spoke. Midfielders going out. David and Ian, I'm going to go to you both for the same question, but with David, I'm going to say Højbjerg. I think with Højbjerg, we're getting to the point now that obviously he knows Denmark and the Euros is coming up. I think he's a guarantee to go whether he leaves us or not. But is he sacked his agent in the summer, got another agent in. Would you reckon he's the more than likely? So talk about the 3, but then go on about Højbjerg, and then Ian, I'm going to ask you about this also.
Yeah, basically, I think he knows himself, and out of the 3 we got there, I believe he'd probably bring the most value. And I think it's time for him. You know what I mean? He's done a job for us. You know what I mean? Not everyone likes him, but he went 2 seasons without missing a game. You know what I mean? He was there for us. Yeah, and he was there for us. So, could we keep him and would he fit long term? I don't think so either. I think we need to upgrade, personally. And about the other two, the same as well. But the way I see it is we need to upgrade with, like, say if we sold Skip, yeah, we need to look for an English player to fill that homegrown quota, like Ash said. Do you know what I mean? If we sell a Celso, look for a foreign player because we don't need that homegrown quota. Do you know what I mean? But we need to upgrade. We can't just buy someone who's like for like or similar. We need to upgrade on each position. Do you know what I mean? But personally, I'd get rid of all three and upgrade on them all. Do you know what I mean? But out of all three, who would I keep would probably be Lo Celso.
Okay.
Personally.
Okay. So we've got you're going to Celso and I'm in. Same question, but with Lo Celso, Barca are a big time. Xavi has said go get the deal done. He's told Barca to go get it done. And with Kulu in the middle, does that make it a more prominent and likely deal?
It probably does. I like Lo Celso. I think he's a really good player. He's been injured the best part of 3 years, pretty much. And I'm happy that he's coming in and replacing Maddison. Although the way Kulu plays on Sunday, he will stay in the team for sure Friday. Yep. Lo Celso will be back on the bench. I think we've got an abundance of talent in midfield. I think it's terrific. When you look at you've got 7 players. You work it out. You've lost Bentancur till Feb.
Yep.
You've lost Maddison possibly till late Jan, February. You've got Basuma and Sarr going off for possibly, I don't know, 5 weeks, is it? So I don't see anybody being sold. I actually see this time, if someone's going to be sold, then someone will be bought prior to the sale. Because otherwise, because at the moment you've got Kulu, Gio, Højbjerg and Skip for the whole of Jan and into Feb. So unless any other players do come back, and obviously at this stage we don't know that. It's difficult. I can't see anybody going in and out in January. I don't see.
Really?
I don't see it. I honestly don't see it. Not in midfield.
Okay.
Not even Højbjerg?
Pardon?
Not even Højbjerg?
No.
So I only see Højbjerg if it's right at the end of the window. Lo Celso, I can see happening because of the emergence of Kulu where he is. Skip, I think if anything happens, it will be a loan. There won't be a buyer. But the reason I wanted to talk about this is because obviously, and Ash again coming to you, and you said homegrown. 2 players keep coming up in Gallagher and Calvin Phillips. I'm going to chuck another one in because he's been linked with us. Colin Cross knows exactly who I'm going to say. I am a huge fan of him. And if we can get this deal done, I would take him over both of those. I'm going to add Morgan Gibbs-White into in the mix because I watched him when he made his debut against us and he destroyed us as a 17-year-old. He destroyed us. Luckily, we got away with a win. I cannot tell you how highly I rate Morgan Gibbs-White. Those 3, do you see any coming to Spurs, and who would you like? And everyone in the chat.
Honestly, this window, I don't see us buying a midfielder. I don't think it's happening. I think we'll buy a centre back, and anything else will just be gravy. Like at the most, we do 2 transfers in the January window. If they're going to do 2 transfers, I see it being a centre back and a forward. I don't see us getting a midfielder. So I don't think any of the 3 are coming. But of the 3 that are most likely to come, I do think it will probably be Phillips, simply because Gibbs White, Forest would not want to let go of their season aspirations, and he's, I think, perhaps their best player. So it would be hard for us to get any deal done in Jan, even if we wanted to.
Okay. Okay, Ian, I'll come to you this time then, David. Out of those three, do you reckon there's any truth behind the rumours, and do you see any of them coming in? Would you want any of them in?
Gibbs White's a very good player, but then you've got Kulu, Gio, Maddison. Where are you going to play Gibbs White?
I'd find a place for him. I love him. I honestly, I think
I don't see it. You got Benson Core coming back. You got Basuma. You've got an abundance of riches. I think we've got more pressing issues elsewhere in the team. You know, we've got one of the strongest midfields in the country. I think.
When fit, yeah.
Yeah, when fit. So for me, I see quite right. Maybe a centre back as cover coming in. Maybe a striker, but the other thing also is that you can't block the pathway for the kids.
So,
And,
I mean,
and this is a project. This isn't a Conte Mourinho got to win now situation, you know. And Andrew's got some time to build the team. He's had one transfer window, and a lot of the players there were probably selected, you know, by Paritici, and deals were already en route before Ange even walk through the front door. So for me, maybe a centre back cover, maybe a striker. I don't see much happening in January.
We'll put it this way: I still say, David, I'm coming to you midfielders, but for me, start the window. A centre back is number one. Even if we only sign one player, it has to. For me, it has to be a centre back.
But then Brian Phillips and Dorrington, what are they going to do?
Well, listen, until they come through, we just, for me, it doesn't even need to, I'm not talking go get a superstar like Van der Ven but there needs, if he's not trusting them or he's not playing them, for me, we can't be in the same situation we've just been. We can come on to that in a sec, but...
Brian, he's got Emerson, he's got Davis.
Yeah, Emerson, I didn't like what I saw. Well, again, for me, it still is a centre back. I mean, David, going back to the midfielders, and remember, we're gonna get, as Kate said, we're gonna be able to keep a close eye on Gibbs White on Friday. What's your thought on the three?
Well, out of the three who we've been linked with, I'd agree with you, Gibbs White. I mean, the price of him for what you'll get would be much better than the likes of obviously Gallagher and Phillips. Will we go for him? Probably not. Definitely not in January. Nottingham Forest will not sell him in January. Do you know what I mean? They're struggling as it is at the moment, and it looks to be like Steve Cooper's going to be sacked soon if he doesn't win some games. And you know what I mean? To get a new manager in, they're not going to sell him in January. That'd be more of a summer thing. In January, I don't think we'll buy many players. I think we'll go for loan deals like we did with Kulu and Bentancur. Do you know what I mean? And I just don't see this fascination with midfielders, like someone said on there. You know what I mean? We're constantly looking at midfielders at the moment. We're not being linked with centre-backs, really. We're not being linked with strikers. We're not being linked with attacking players. That's a worry. For me, I think Kulu, new position, should be midfield. He's thriving in that role. It's easy for him. It's better for him. And the problem with wingers, you need a winger who's got an abundance of pace. Like Kulu can run all game. Do you know what I mean? I think he's got the highest running stats in the Prem. But he doesn't have that pace. So for me in midfield, he can fill that role because he doesn't need to use his pace a lot. He can use his strength and his ability of passing to play that role there. Excuse me, my mouth's gone dry.
No worries. I'll take a sip of coffee for you.
Yeah, I think importance would be centre back. We can see that with Van der Ven getting injured, with Romero. You know what I mean? You don't know whether he's going to get a red card or if he's going to kill a player. Do you know what I mean? So you've always got to have a backup there, So I think we'll look for loan deals, but I think we'll probably won't even look for a striker with Richarlison. Doing what he's doing. I think Levy will look at that and be like, "Oh, he'll be fine. We've got Richarlison there." Wingers, I mean, you've got Manor Solomon to come back. You've got Brennan there. I mean, you can use other players there, So Sonny on the wing was much better against Newcastle. So I think we're going to focus mainly on centre-backs, and I think it'll just be loan deals.
I'm so happy you said that, David. I'm so happy because we're now going to move on to a section that I really, really wanted to talk about. Give me a second. My screen has just disappeared. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't know where my screen's gone. Very, very good. Oh, lovely. I've pushed the wrong buttons. I will be. Let's have a look. Can I get back? Oh, for crying out loud! This is just what I need.
Still on the screen.
I'm still on the screen. Good, but I can't. There we go. Thank God. I pushed the wrong button. Right. Okay, I may have set the stream for 4 a.m., but I've obviously done something wrong. Right, something I did want to talk about is you mentioned the name Sonny, and let's have some positive talk and some great talk about a player that is here, because the Premier League announced yesterday he's joined a very exclusive and illustrious club. I'm going to bring the banner up. He's joined a club with Mane, Henry, Kane, Aguero, Lampard, Rooney, scoring 10 plus goals in the Premier League for a striker. You think no big deal, especially at Tottenham Hotspur. But to do it 8 consecutive seasons in a row is quite the achievement. And especially even considering the poor form he was in last season, it's a very illustrious club he's in, isn't it, Ash?
Yeah, he really is. And he's always been slightly underrated. I was, like he came into Spurs and it wasn't like the best start. There were lots of people it was kind of like Brennan Johnson, where a lot of people were like, oh, maybe not. Everyone could see he was quality, but nobody was sure how good he would be. And then sort of he sort of grew into his role along with Kane. And by the time in the last 3-4 years, it was that famous partnership, right, where
Yep.
they'd be assisting each other and stuff. But we don't realize how good he is. Like, uh, 50 assists, 50 goals away from home, 50 goals at home. He scored. I mean, he's just scored every type of goal there is, except for one goal with his head or something like that. It's a ridiculous stat how many goals he has with his head. But apart from that, he's an excellent winger, and he's proven to us in the last match that he can play on the left. All of those detractors who are saying, oh, he can't play on the left, yes, he may make those runs fewer times than he might have earlier, but he knows when to go. His experience also comes into play. So I think that he's just an amazing player, and he's just class, and we need to give him that. I mean, there are a lot of people who are like, "Oh, Sonny's not world class," and perhaps I agree. He may not be the best in the world, but he's certainly up there in the Premier League. And I'm just happy he's our captain. I think he's a great captain as well. I know there are people who are his detractors, but Sonny always makes me smile, and when Sonny's smiling, I know that club is doing well. So it's just one of those things. It just makes me happy to watch him. And especially him skinning Trippier. That was great.
Oh yeah, he had a ball on Sunday, but Ian, like I said, last season he probably had his worst season. Still got 10 plus goals in the Premier League on it. Last time when he won the Golden Boot, he had 7 before Christmas, so he's ahead of himself already in that from its best goal return season. It's a magnificent club he's just joined, and he's a magnificent player, isn't he?
I think Son's great. I think he's come on. Take last year out. The season before with Kane was superb.
Yep.
I do think the first 3 or 4 years that Sonny was with us, it was very hit and miss. You got a 9 out of 10 or a 2 out of 10. And you didn't know which Son was going to turn out. He could be absolutely brilliant, and there are other games you didn't even see him. But as he's got old, maybe the last 3 or 4 years, his performances have become much more consistent. You can see why Ange made him captain, because he pulls everybody together. He's just got that sort of personality, which you need. Everybody loves somebody and respects him. Then he will get the best out of them, and he gets the most out of teammates through example. He's not a Roy Keane type screamer, and it's great. Love having him. He's been superb this season, and hopefully he'll beat Haaland to the Golden Boot.
Yeah, I mean, David, when we look at it, his first season he came, there was talk that he wanted to leave. Thank God he didn't. He got stronger and stronger and stronger, and like Ian said, last season, he's come back this season and shown what he's made of. And we've seen the education that he's taken on as a footballer, hasn't he? And as a man, and as a winger, as a striker. And you would have thought after Kane had left, it may have affected his game. Obviously, having your partner there where you got the telepathic understanding, but he's just kicked onto a different gear, hasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, with Sonny, it's his mentality. Do you know what I mean? He's at a club that he generally wants to be at. You get some players who are at clubs, they can play well and stuff, but you don't really have that feeling that they actually want to be there. Sonny loves us, and when Kane was going, when we heard about that, I didn't have in the back of my head Sonny was going to have an issue. Do you know what I mean? My issue was the fact that, you know what I mean, the injury he had last season and how poor he was. Is he going to kick on from that? Well, he's proved everyone wrong. Do you know what I mean? Players are allowed bad game. I see it all the time on Twitter where a player can do something or not do something, and they'll either get applauded or they'll be told that they need to be sold. Sonny, for us, has been one of our most consistent players. I mean, I think his conversion rate this season is like, what, 80%?
Yep.
Right?
He's miles ahead. Miles
and I
ahead
mean,
of
the
anyone.
one close to him is Salah with 57.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Now, you've got to understand, that is insane. He's so clinical, it's unreal. But you got to allow him his overall play. You know what I mean? In a game, he's sometimes going to lose the ball. He's sometimes not going to perform. But with Sonny, you've always got to see that if he gets a chance, he's scoring.
Do you know what? I've got those stats for you. Best finishers amongst Europe top goal scorers since August 2018. And I'll only do the top three, okay? Because this is just insane. In third place, and I can't believe I'm saying, in third place is Lionel Messi with 21.31%. In second place, it's Harry Kane with just 0.2 more of 21.33. And number one, more than double, is Heung Min Son with 44.41. I mean, Ian, that's just simply staggering, isn't it? To be top of that three.
They're great stats. They're great stats. Let's hope we get that for the next 4 years. That'd be brilliant.
Do you know what, Ian? I'll stay with you because the thing I love about the thing that people have to remember with Heung Min Son is people have obviously targeted him, which is totally incorrect and it shouldn't be happening at all. But whenever this man's loyalty or commitment or love towards this club is brought up, like the links to Saudi Arabia or anything, he'll come straight out and say, nope, Tottenham. His dedication and commitment to Tottenham has been exemplary, hasn't it?
I think it's great. He's gone under the radar a lot. You know, you hear a lot in the press about a lot of players with transfers. And you never actually hear saying, you know, Barcelona have come in with a £50 million bid for. You never hear it. So I'm sure there's stuff that goes on behind the scenes. I'm sure clubs have come in and made inquiries and they've never got anywhere. It's superb. You know, listen, we're fortunate to have him. It was a great buy. You know, it was still 22 million.
Yeah.
In today's market, particularly as well. So no, superb.
What would you value him at now? Sorry.
Say again? Go on,
Dave.
What were you going to
What
say?
would you value Sonny right now? If Sonny come up and you could sell him, what would you value him now?
Remember,
he's
30, not 31, because in Korea, the day you're born, you become 1 year old.
Yeah.
So,
No, he's 31 according to international age.
so he is actually 30, although he's down at 31.
I think he's a 100 mil player. But Ash, left wing against Newcastle on Sunday, he was devastating. Do you think that's his position now? Does he stay with Richarlison being fit? Do you want to see him on the left or do you want to see him central?
I want to see him on the left, honestly, simply because, like this year, especially with Perisic out as well, we've really struggled on that left wing. We tried Richarlison there. We tried to put Johnson there. We put Hill there. We've just put so many people there and it's just not worked out. And you know what happens is if you don't have service from the left, that sort of like stops your play from the right as well because everyone knows where you're coming from. And so that what happens then is that the striker gets no service. So even if Sonny was in the center, Unless he can like magically create for himself, he's not getting the ball. So there's no point in having Sunny as striker if he's not going to get the ball. I'd rather see him on the left where he can supply the ball to someone. And let's just. I know I don't have a lot of faith in Richarlison, but hopefully he proves me wrong. I really want him to prove me wrong. And yeah, he scores. I hate that celebration, but I want to see that pigeon dance again and again.
I thought you were about to talk about that. That I love. I mean, New York, it's now transcending. I saw the New York Giants player scored a touchdown and is doing it.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's Bale that started all that, and it looks like Sonny's celebration has started taking over the world.
People also forget that like it's not just about Sunny's skills on the field. That's amazing. My God, that's amazing. But when you sign a player like Sunny, you get a country along with it. So imagine that in terms of like marketing and PR, and not just a country like us in Asia. Everybody supports Sunny. He's not just South Korea Sunny. He's just Asian Sunny, like best Asian player ever.
I think he's a world Sunny, to be fair, because we've got, and at the Scotland Yard there is, when we get busy, there are so many Koreans that come and watch the games with us every single game, and enjoy that. They've always been there. I mean, obviously their love for Sunny is huge, and it's completely understandable. But David, where do you want to see him continue on the left? Because the last few games or start of the season, he didn't look right on the left, if we're honest. And then Ange put him in the centre, and then he ripped Burnley apart, and then he went on his run. Sunday was probably the best performance I've seen from him on the left in I don't know how long, and he was devastating. I was like, he's got to play central. He's got to play central. Now I'm like, I don't know. I don't either, as long as he's in the team.
Yeah, I mean, people are probably going to hate me for this, but you've got to put it in a little bit of context. Trippier was dreadful. He was knackered. He's played consistently, and he was struggling, and Sonny took advantage of that. But you need the mindset. You need the type of player who can understand that his opponent's tired. His opponent doesn't want to go in on him, and he knows he's got the skill to pass his opponent. Nottingham Forest will be a test if Sonny plays out on the wing, because he's going to have a fit player next to him. He's going to have to constantly be on it. Do you know what I mean? And that for me is going to be the one to see if whether Sonny can work on the wing still, because like you said previously, he hasn't worked a lot. And I agree with you, Sonny has to be in the team. But yeah, I've got to wait for Nottingham Forest to make a full, you know what I mean, he's committed to the wing type of thing, because yes, he was unbelievable in Newcastle, but he was against a tired player who looked absolutely shattered. To be fair, Trippier looked dreadful, and Sonny took advantage of that. So yeah, for me, Nottingham Forest is going to be the one where I cement my idea of him staying on the wing.
Right, Ash, I'll come to you because Colin Cross put it in a comment and I can't find it. But he was, I think what his comment was spot on, that Conte,
under Conte, yeah.
he was dying under Conte. Conte was, it's happened with a few players, and Ange has given him that hunger back, that appetite. Like you said a minute ago, the smile on his face. A lot of this has got to go down to, obviously, a lot goes down to Sonny and his incredible professionalism. But Ange has got to take some credit as well, hasn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I will say that, there was the injury, yes. But it's also about the amount of chances you create, right? For a forward, if you're forward, you're going to just score more. It's just logical. I mean, there are people who would argue that Sonny won his golden boot in that mid-season when Conte joined, and a lot of the goals he scored were during the Conte era. Like his best season was in that era. But honestly, all of it has to come through Kane. At least most of it was coming through Kane. So it just didn't make sense to continue playing like that, because we were too dependent on two players and that connection working in every match. And so Sonny wasn't getting those goals if there was no supply. And if we're constantly in our own half, sort of defending for about 70 minutes in a game, then it's not likely to happen. So I do think that stifled Sunny. And Sunny was not Sonny has improved on his game. He tracks back a lot more, especially after that fight he had with Lloris. You see him tracking back and helping with his defending a lot more. In fact, he was offended that FIFA gave him a 35 on defending or something like that, something really ridiculously low. So, like Sonny's been working at that, but in the Conte team, that meant he never went forward because he was
Yep.
constantly tracking back.
Yep, you're right. And Ian, question here from Mark and David. I'm going to ask you the same as well. Will Sonny get 20 this season? He's already at 10. Obviously, he's away for a month, so January. But I think he only misses 2 Premier League games if he stays the whole time.
Probably three.
Okay, probably 3.
Is it Brighton on the 10th of November, February rather?
Yeah, you're right. You're right. So
if they reach the final, he'll miss that one.
Yeah, you got to think that South Korea, being the fantastic team they are in that tournament, are a shoe-in for the favourites. Do you see him getting 20 Premier League goals this year?
No question. I don't see why not. The amount of chances they create, he ought to. He's got 10 from 16 so far?
Yep.
If he misses 3, so that's 10 for half this. So he's got 10 to get from 19 games. I don't see that being an issue.
Yeah, what do you reckon he could get?
25.
Right, 25. There you go. David, same question to you. Will he get 20 and any advance on 25? I'll go to you after Ash with his tally for the season. Let's have an auction. Do I have any more than 25? David,
I personally, if Sonny carries on the way he goes, stays fit, and the team we get like full squad back, and we have that full squad for a good run of games, I reckon Sonny's in out for the Golden Boot. I mean, he's only a few behind. He's only a few behind Haaland. Sorry, what?
He misses, I think, 2 Premier League games. Or 3
Yeah,
Premier
that's it,
League.
yeah.
could be 3.
So it could be 3 games, yeah.
So let's assume it's 3. David, you think he hits 20?
Could be 4.
Yeah.
You think he hits 20? Okay.
I think 20. I think max he'll get about. I reckon I'll go higher than 25. I reckon he'll get about 27.
Right, you're on 27. Okay, Ash, what's your tally for the season? You reckon that Sonny's hitting?
I think he gets about 23. I don't see him getting above 25 goals. I love Sonny. I think he'll score a lot of goals this season, but he's leaving for the Asia Cup. He'll come back. There'll be like a adjusting period. We have a very difficult April. Although Sonny scores against the big teams, so that's not so much of a worry for him personally. But I don't see him. I don't see him getting more than 23 goals. But the one good thing about Sonny is that when he does score, often he scores hat tricks. Like when he gets going, he really gets going. So I'm hoping that if there's any way that he wants to beat his 25 23 tally, then the way to do it is hat tricks. Come on, Sonny, Forest hat trick.
Okay, so the final one is with me, and I'm going to say I'm going to go bold with Maddison back. I'm going to say he's going to hit 30. I'm going big. I'm going bold. Listen, if I'm right, brilliant. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I can honestly, if he stays fit, I can see a 30 Premier League goal season coming. I really do.
That is, Brian, 20 from the next 18 games.
Yep.
Because he'll miss 4, because you've got, I think, Everton on the 3rd, 4th of Feb, and then you've got Brighton the week after. So
four goals against Arsenal at home.
That'd be nice.
That would be right. Let's move on from Sonny. First of all, I have to say, Edward, never ever blaspheme on this. I should time you out for such a criminal offence on here. I may have cut my hair, and I do. If I put my glasses on, unfortunately, someone does look like me. I don't look like someone. He looks like me. I may have said something about well done, Adoji, getting the contract done. That's as far as it goes. That's as far as it goes. And
that's the start. That's the start.
That's the start, and that's the end. But we'll spend the last 20 talking transfers. And there's a super chat that came in from Tagaro, which is Jota and Tar in. I don't know who Tar is, to be honest. And they won't be expensive. I mean, I think Jota, Ash has done. I think I honestly see it on the first bits of transfer news that we see. Brian Hill goes back out to Spain. because he always does. And if he goes out on loan to Spain, we'll talk about who after, then just sell him. Just sell him, get him out the door. Don't just give him a few games and loan him back to Spain and Jota in. I think that's the first bit of business we do. It won't be expensive, but would you like these two?
Taz, the Bayer Leverkusen player, right? If I'm
Okay.
not wrong.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah, I think you're right.
And Bayern, they're having a good season, but I mean, I can't claim to watch a lot of Bundesliga, so I can't say that that I'm really familiar with Ta. But because Leverkusen is doing so well, I don't see any player wanting to leave Leverkusen unless he's not favored, and I think he does play for them. So I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't mind. I wouldn't mind Tosin Adebayor as well. I liked him in the summer, but I don't think he's coming uh, because he won't want to sit on the bench. Kyogo is another person that I think is nice. Jota I think will happen for sure. I
Yep.
do think that he's not good enough as a permanent. But if we're going to, on the short term, just to sort of get rid of our striker problem, in case Richie doesn't come good, sorry for all the Richie faithful supporters. If he doesn't come good, which I feel is more likely to happen, given his Marseille 2 goals didn't lead to anything either, I would suggest that we get Jota in and see what happens until the summer.
Yeah, actually, very lucky. From what I've seen, Craig Sullivan, who is chairman of the Richarlison fan club, is not in the chat today. He's busy at work, so you've got a pass there. David, with those two players, and with Jota in, do you see Hill out, and do you want Jota?
Yeah, I mean, Jota was unbelievable under Ange at Celtic. Whether he can do it at the Prem, who knows? But you got a player who's willing to play for his manager. I mean, Ange leaves, then Jota's out the door straight away. Do you know what I mean? So that could be a part of it. Tar, I can't see it. Do you know what I mean? He'd be. Why would he leave at the moment? Do you know what I mean? It's one of them. I think we'd look for the more.
I've not been at the crack pipe. It is very early in the morning. I've been on the coffee. You're supplying me, mate.
But yeah, I think we'd look more for the Prem for the centre back. Personally, I don't think we'll look like you know what I mean in the other leagues. Gil, like you said, if he's to look to go out on loan again, just get rid of him. He's not going to work. You're just wasting time with him. We've also got Manor Solomon to come back. Do you know what I mean? So there's another winger there we'll have there. But I think Jota will be the first name in January. When I used to, you know what I mean? Like I said, when I was a part of that transfer page, the amount of names that come through is ridiculous.
Yep.
I've heard some of the stupidest transfers to come through and everything like so. Don't always look at names and think, you know what I mean, we're linked with them. Half the time it's just noise.
So I have to say, David, and I'm going to come to you in because we are going to blend it in with the chairman, and I'll go back to type and show everyone how I think. I've just realised when I said it should be the first name in, that should have been Porro last year. It was the only person, and Dan Zuma came in and we got him on the last day. The year before, it was Adama Traore, and we know that never worked out. This should be the first name in, but because he's not even registered, he can't even play, the finances. Should this be the first one in, but could it be the last one in?
Who, Jota?
Yeah.
Possibly. I can see that. I can see him coming in and maybe Gil going out. Although Gil's never had a run in the team, has he? You know,
No.
Players need several games to get rhythm, get match fitness. He's never had a run.
Is there a reason for that?
You know, you can't turn around and say, you know, the guy was poor. You know, for me, it's difficult, but he's probably more suited to Spanish football. Yes, I could see Jota, but the funny thing is, I can't see a centre forward because I think Richie could come good.
I've got a feeling now. Listen, he looked a lot freer on Sunday. He played a lot better. I saw a lot of people talking about the first goal, and when I say a lot of people talking, I mean the media. going, anyone could have scored that, anyone could have done that. But forget the goal was quite an easy take. If you watch the replay again, his speed of thought to move away from his marker and create the extra space that he had, I hadn't seen that from him because of his injury or whatever. So hopefully switched on. I don't think we get a striker in the side. I want us to get a striker, but if Richarlison has a good run now, Ash, I can't see a striker being an option, especially with Valise there. What do you feel about that?
So with Richie, I've always, like you said, you've never seen the movement. I've actually seen it, like in the sense that why do you think he misses sitters? He misses sitters because he reaches there, right, and then misses. That means that the movement is always there. It's just that that final product is missing. So I think that his brain works enough to sort of like get him there. Like he's anticipating where the ball is going to come. He just either gets there too early or too late, or he scuffs it with his feet. I just think that there's too much going on in his head, and maybe that's because he's playing with pain. It's possible that's the case. Oftentimes injury will do that to a player. So if the operation can change that and now he's pain free, that would be amazing. I mean, he was like the injections and the process that he was describing, no wonder he had like mental health issues as well. I think injuries does do that to a player as well. So and painkillers can have a very detrimental effect on your state of mind. So if he's taking injections to sort of be able to play, then I sympathize with that absolutely. But so, but I've always seen the movement. But the thing is, even before that in Everton, when he was fit, um, his goal tally has never been more than 13 or 14 goals in his best seasons. So it's not like he's going to be that prolific goal scoring striker for us. He's going to put in a few goals and he'll do a good job at those goals. Even if it's tapping, somebody has to score them, right? That's the job of the striker. It's not to score amazing goals, it's to tap in those goals every match on match, so that you do your job, right? And that's all anyone expects of you. You don't have to score beautiful goals. uh, but I do think that we can upgrade on Richie. I think Richie is a good player, and I think he may even come good. But I still think we could upgrade on him.
Okay, well, David, Peter Jenner, I'm going to bring in two comments. Peter Jenner, when we signed him, Simeon, I mean, I was in the We Are Tottenham TV studios all that week because Ben was in his honeymoon. Simeon brainwashed me to think him over Jesus. So I'm really hoping he's coming out, and I'm mixing this in with Nick, who's giving him four more games until he makes his mind up on whether he sees something. Are you kind of there? Do you reckon he's got till Christmas to? He should now. That's if Ange continues, and I hope he plays the exact same lineup on Friday. The exact same lineup. Where are you with Richie?
Personally, I'm giving him to the end of the season.
Okay.
For me, he had an issue, right? And like Ash said very well, like, you know what I mean. There's a lot of situations around an injury like that can hamper your game. For me, what no one's really speaking about against the Newcastle game, which everyone's talking about the goals, yes, but it was his closing down, it was his pressing that I was super impressed with, because he was so much faster to a player than previously. Now, whether that's down to Newcastle being tired or not, it doesn't matter. He was getting at them players and he was causing them issues. Now, if you look at previous games, he tried that, but he was always that bit of pace off. Do you know what I mean? He was always that bit slower to the player. In that Newcastle game, he was right on him. He was getting at him. He was tracking back at times. He was getting forward. If a fully fit Richarlison in a team that's creating so many chances like we are, I mean, we are creating so many, I think he will surprise a lot of people. And I think he will do well if he keeps it up. But I'm giving him to the end of the season because, you know what I mean, his mental health. Everyone knows when you've got mental health and you have issues, they can affect you badly. You couple that with the fact that he was on painkillers. Yeah, couple that with you put him on painkillers. You couple that with the fact that he's injured. He's seeing the news. We've seen him on Twitter. You see him post stuff and everything. So you know he's reading things. All them can have an effect. And I'll say, like, a player who, you know what I mean, in a different team who you can say was similar to that is look at Maguire. Maguire was hated. Maguire is constantly being trod on, slated, and everything. Yet his mentality was, I don't care what people say, I'm sticking to the team and I'm going to try. And to be fair, the past few games, he's been United's best player. Do you know what I mean? So give him a chance, you know? Don't let what that's part of the beginning of his injury and everything affect what he could possibly do. I'm not going to say he's going to do it, but I'm giving him to the end of the season.
So, Ian, I'm not asking you the same question, but before I do, I'm just going to say hi to a very, very special near dear friend of mine, Ray. Excuse me, Ray the Yeats. Good morning, brother. I hope you're good. This man is partly responsible with Craig Sullivan, and Ash, you know Craig, and I'm sure the three of you know Craig and Ray on Twitter. Craig and him are huge Richarlison fans, and Craig has a huge habit of putting pigeon gifs up. And I've gone away from my phone for half an hour and seen between him, Ray, Lord of Akka, and the others that have joined it with me, I have over 45 notifications, and all of them are just pigeon gifs. That's it. Just pigeon gifs and different pictures. There's like a thread of it. And Ray is a huge part of that. So thank you, Ray. I love it. I love it. I've joined it. Where are you, Ian, with Richie?
Well, listen, he's underachieved when he's been at Spurs. But let's look at the circumstances. He came in, he's understudy to Kane. So no one's got a chance if they're understudy to Kane, firstly. So he's never going to get a run in the team. He's never gonna play X amount of games where he can get match fit, where he can get into the groove, where he's up and running. Then he's injured, went to the World Cup, scored those 2 amazing goals. You know, you're looking at him thinking, Jesus, thank God we've got him in our squad. And then he comes back, and he's not great when he's in, but he's injured. So now he's not injured.
Yep.
You know, he's gone through the same sort of injury as Sonny. They've both come out. Sonny's come out fighting and scoring. I don't see why Richie can't. You know, you look at the style of football that we're playing. Richarlison's going to get plenty of chances.
Completely.
So, you know, and to me, Perisic was a loss because he could put the ball in 6 minutes with his crossing. But you know, if it works out now with Sonny playing just to the Richie's left, and Sonny's creating as well as scoring, then Richie's going to get a hatful. So for me, do you want to go and buy a Tony? I mean, the only player I would want to buy, if you said to me, go out, if somebody was available, which he's not going to be, because like Tar at Leverkusen, Villa are doing well, is Ollie Watkins. And he's the only player maybe for next season I would chuck money at.
Yeah, the only one I'd go for, Ian, if available like that, would be Evan Ferguson, but that's not happening in a million years.
No, he's got 120 million, and there's no way Spurs would ever spend that.
Yeah, I have to say, Richarlison blew my theory out the water on Sunday, because I said it before, me and my dad had a scientific fact proven that when we had Benoit Asuakoto, if he played with braids, he played well. If he had the afro, he played terrible. It was scientifically proven. We've got all the history. And I literally said, every time Richarlison plays with his normal hair, not his blonde hair, he plays well. And when he has his blonde hair, he plays bad. But thankfully, he's proven that scientifically incorrect, which I'm delighted to see. But we're going to wrap the show up there. So I'm just going to quickly go around the table, and then a little announcement or a little funny thing at the end. Ash, always a pleasure. Love having you on the channel. Where can people find you?
So I'm very excited to talk about this, but I'm going to be doing a Hindi show on Talkin' Ball, and on it's a joint stream with Elter Cockerel and Talkin' Ball. So if anybody understands Hindi, even if you don't, come in, like, subscribe. It'll be like a mishmash of Hindi and English, because us Indians can't make up our mind on what language to speak. And so y'all might understand half of it. If there are any Indians in the house, it's a shame Donna Cullen isn't here. But yeah, please join us. It'll be great. It's on Saturday at 6:30 Indian time. So please just like press the notification button on Talking Ball. Please go there. It'll be great. Also, because there's not a lot of Indian content out there, so it'll be great to reach a lot more football fans.
Ash, I'm so happy for you because honestly, the amount of people that come on our show or any show and don't speak anything but huge positivity about you, you are incredible. So everyone should watch you. And we can all, if you don't understand Hindi, we can all learn Hindi. So you're talking about Spurs. So there you go. David, sir, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter, Rodrigo Roadman. I wrote it in case anyone doesn't know how to spell it. But no, you can find me on Twitter. Obviously, I was on another channel, but that's kind of quiet at the moment. But hopefully we'll get that back up and running, which is Tottenham All. And yeah, so if you want to see really bad takes and an angry Welshman who's hairy on Twitter, that's where you can find me there.
Angry Washmen Who Are Hairy. That's a channel all on its own.
I know, yeah.
David, always a pleasure. And this bottom row, as we said earlier, isn't the so hairy and Welsh. Let's say that. Ian, where can people find you?
Where we that one in at Lubo_61 on Twitter, on here regularly now.
Very much.
Chairman, and also on Spaces.
Okay, so final, got a super chat in from Tagaro just saying, wait till Spurs do a pre-season with an AFL club. We'll take fitness and strength to a level Prem has never seen. Well, let's hope so, Tagaro. Thank you so much for your support. And I saved a comment for the end. My very good friend James Flower, as well as Ellie, will be appearing on the Advent calendar today. We apologise yesterday it wasn't premiered, so we couldn't interact with you all. It will be premiered every other day. And James, why he's saying trust me is he really, really wanted Raya. People will know that I went absolutely batshit crazy when we didn't get Raya. So James uses this opportunity to rib me at every single possible time he could. So 11 o'clock UK time, watch the Advent calendar. It's a very, very good edition today, talking about players that wore the number 13, and there's some comical players in there as well today. But what I will say is thank you to everyone for watching. Everyone have a great day. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and as always, Levy out.